Hello, everybody. My name is Nick Neidl. I'm a research associate at the Chamber of Industry and Commerce here in the city of Dortmund, and I'm one of the main organizers of the Startup Germany tour. I really would like to welcome all of you to our third webinar of our pre-program series of our Startup Germany tour. So maybe a few of you have seen yesterday our access to logistics and mobility webinar, but today the topic is a bit different. So now we have our access to green tech, sustainable technologies for Germany's most thriving location NRW webinar. And why is this topic so important for Germany and especially for North Rhine-Westphalia? It is about to meet the declared objectives of reducing CO2 until 2050. The need here in Germany, especially in North Rhine-Westphalia, is continuously rising for sustainable and green technologies. So here in North Rhine-Westphalia, where lots of different sectors are located, the need for green innovations is quite high. So, so today you will get to know industry experts and important multipliers from NRW and learn how to enter the market here and get useful information about where you can find the best support. And for this purpose, we have invited numerous great speakers today, whom I would like to thank sincerely already now. And as always, this Startup Germany tour project would not be possible without our partners and initiators. So the whole program is organized by the Chambers of Industry and Commerce in the rural area, Cologne and Düsseldorf, as well as by our Chambers of Commerce abroad. So big thanks to the world. And as well as by our umbrella organization, the DIHK. And the special thanks goes out to one of our main partners, the Ministry of Economic Affairs, Innovation, Digitalization and Energy of the state of North Rhine-Westphalia, to NRW Global Business and to NRW Bank. So without these extraordinary partners, this would not be possible. And so now we continue with one of our partners. So I will hand over to you, Nina Rieger, Policy Advisor at the Ministry of Economic Affairs. And to all of you, have fun and see you later.
Yeah, thank you, Nick, for your kind introduction. Dear entrepreneurs from all around the world, dear ladies and gentlemen, first of all, a warm welcome from my side on behalf of the Ministry of Economic Affairs of the state of North Rhine-Westphalia. My name is Nina Rieger and I'm a policy advisor at the ministry. And for us as the Ministry of Economic Affairs, it is the second time we are participating in the Startup Germany tour as a partner. And this year we nearly doubled our funding for this year's tour because we see a lot of potential showing international startups like you, our brilliant startup ecosystem. The Startup Germany tour offers a great possibility for startups from all around the world to connect with our key stakeholders from the German and international startup scene. And today you get a great insight about our vibrant green tech scene here in North Rhine-Westphalia. We look also forward to inviting the top 15 startups of this year's tour to Germany in October to show you our entrepreneurial ecosystem and to connect you physically with startups, corporates, investors, and other key stakeholders from our local entrepreneurial ecosystem. Also, we will allocate prize money worth of 15,000 euros in total to the top 3 startups of this tour. So if you're not yet registered for the competition, reach out to your German Chamber of Commerce because it's a great possibility for you to get to know our state a little much better or more. And during the 2022 Startup Germany tour, we want to show you the beauty and diversity of our state. We want to give you the possibility to pitch your ideas, to connect and to grow your business on an international scale, or also in an European scale or a German scale. So thank you very much. Enjoy this webinar, enjoy the tour, and see you very soon.
Yeah, thank you very much, Nina. So now we go on to our next partner, and not only with words of welcome, but also with an introduction to the green tech market in North Rhine-Westphalia. So I will hand over to Andreas Bracht, project manager in the strategy unit at NRW Global Business. So please, Andreas.
Thank you so much, Nina. Thank you for the warm welcome words. Hello, everybody in the world. I've seen people from the Philippines, from Brazil, from Tehran. Really great to have you all here in our webinar. My name is Andreas. I'm working at NRW Global Business, which is the trade and investment agency of the state of North Rhine-Westphalia. And yeah, as Nick said, I'm working in the strategy unit, so developing our business plans and also keeping focus on what are the big topics in the world. And sustainability and green tech is obviously one of the driving forces of industrial and economical transformation right now. So I have the pleasure for the next 10 to 8 minutes maybe to introduce you to the green tech market in North Rhine-Westphalia. And please, I'm not quite sure, Nick, probably questions in the Q&A section, probably in the chat, right?
Yeah, we have one question. So does NRW Global Business need green insulation material by smooth, hollow plant fibers? So Amazon Kapuk, we are scaling up and need your help. So maybe, yeah, this will be answered after your pitch. I would say that after that, it becomes more clearer, I guess. Yeah. So please, Andreas, go further.
Sounds perfect. Yeah. So as you know, maybe heard already in the already happened webinars, NRW is the largest of the 16 federal states in Germany. If it would be a sovereign state, it would be the 6th biggest economy in Europe and the 18th largest in the world. We have a GDP of over 700 billion euros, and obviously are the industrial heartland of Germany. And that does not only reconsider the green tech market, but the overall economy. And obviously a lot of those industrial players are in a current transitioning phase, facing transformation challenges regarding net carbon strategies and also to drive sustainable transformation. We here in NRW believe in the potential of the global green tech market. Currently, we have a 4.5 billion, 4,500 billion euro market globally, and we expect that number to rise significantly. And in NRW, already over 400,000 people are working in the environmental industry. So a lot of them are working in the service sector, almost 50%. A lot of them are also working in construction and manufacturing, making it one of the largest industrial sectors here in the state. It accumulates to almost 36 billion euro gross value added, which is 6% of the gross value added here in the state and 20% of Germany's total performance in the environmental industry. So we have already a very large proportion of green tech happening here in North Rhine-Westphalia. And not only are we already established, we are still trying to find new innovative ideas on how to change the industry here towards a more sustainable production. Energy-wise, probably my other speakers and colleagues can talk a little bit more in detail about that as well. We have 30% of Germany's electricity generated and consumed here, obviously by the 18 million people that live here, but also consumed by our large corporations, such as in the steel industry, but also in the chemical industry, which really have a huge need for electricity. And currently we are obviously in the change of transforming that that supply towards more renewable energies. In 2021, we had a share of 46% of renewable energies in the energy mix. and we want to increase that number by getting out of coal production by 2030. 5,000 companies already are working in the field of renewable energy production, ranking only second to Bavaria in Germany. And the state of North Rhine-Westphalia has committed itself to be net carbon by 2045. But we expect that due to the current pace of the transformation, that maybe will happen sooner as well. In North Rhine-Westphalia, if you would cluster the lead markets in the green economy, you can probably cluster them into 6 different categories. I will just briefly go over them so that you can have a overview of what's happening here in the state. So a lot of things are happening in the sector of circular economy and recycling, with a global market volume of almost 150 billion euros. We have a lot of interesting players, and some of them will talk later in this webinar as well, regarding the circular economy. And we envision the circular economy also together with the use of materials and the efficiency of material usage to be a really holistic approach. So not only the recycling side of the circular economy, but really a new way of thinking how things, products, and also services should work. Obviously, energy production and material efficiency is a really large market in NRW as well, such as sustainable mobility, which not only includes electric vehicles and other forms of transportation, but also questions about smart planning, smart cities, how we want to get from A to B in a place. We are a very large state, so we do not only have urban areas such as Düsseldorf or Cologne, but also large rural areas where mobility has to be thought in a sustainable way as well. Speaking about energy and also the generation and storage of energy, maybe we hear a little bit more about that during our hydrogen session of the webinar, which is already happening here in North Rhine-Westphalia. And sustainable water management, and as well as sustainable agriculture and forestry, are happening here in the state as well, especially in the more rural areas, such as the more eastern parts of the state of North Rhine-Westphalia. Here in the state, we are neighboring major European countries, such as the Netherlands, Belgium, to whom we have very good trade connections to. And also the green tech economy is a really booming export economy for our state. 1 of 3 euros is generated abroad, so which is approximately 12 billion euros per year. And the green tech experts from NRW have recorded an annual growth of almost 2% over the last 10 years. And some sectors are more export orientated than others. For example, the material efficiency technologies are really in demand all over the world. And with our outstanding infrastructure, such as the port in Duisburg, which you can see here, our airport systems in Düsseldorf or Cologne, and our train and street connections, we really are at the pulse of the European heartbeat, as you would like to speak, connecting North Rhine-Westphalia all over the world. On continental scale, the US and China are some of the more interesting and more important trading partners regarding green tech technology from North Rhine-Westphalia. Here in the state, you have access to really outstanding partners, networks from academia, from science, from corporations as well. I just have listed some partners here. Some of them will talk later in the afternoon as well to you. From the networks and clusters, we have, for example, Energy for Climate, NRW Energy for Climate, or the Circular Valley Accelerator, which is primarily focusing on circular economy startups. We have outstanding and really world-known research institutes, such as the Fraunhofer Institutes or the Wuppertal Institutes, which is one of the leading think tanks in climate science. And obviously we have universities such as the TU Dortmund or the RWTH Aachen, which are in a class of their own as well. On the state side or on the public sector side, with partners such as the Efficiency Agency, CNID, or the NRW Bank, which is also partner of the Startup Germany Tour. Startups, but also small and medium-sized enterprises have the chance to have access to funding, to consultancy services, which are offered by the state. So you really have a really good network here of partners that can help you make your business in the green tech market grow. What I really find interesting is that we, as a trade and investment agency, we obviously are working with companies who want to set foot in a new market. And currently what we are experiencing is that there are a lot of dedicated business industrial parks or office parks, which are specifically aiming for companies from the green tech sector. You see here the EUREF campus in Düsseldorf, right at the airport, but there are many other examples, such as the Smart Tech campus in Wuppertal, but then also other cities and communities as well, where you have business parks and industrial areas which are embracing the challenges and the transformation that comes with the transformation towards a more sustainable economy. They have strategies in place to reuse water. They have solar panels, use wind energy, have already 100% recycled materials, are dedicated to be net carbon. So you really have future-oriented locations of innovation where you can make your ideas here as a company grow. And as a last point regarding the field of green tech, we have almost 800,000 students here in NRW, and 40% of them are studying and underdoing courses in the field of science, technical and mathematical subjects. So if you are in need of smart people, smart minds who are passionate about driving change, you will probably find them here in North Rhine-Westphalia better than anywhere in the world. We have over 30 courses which are directly related to the topic of green tech. And as I've shown you with the partners, there's a wide range of cooperation opportunities with academia, universities, and science. And just that you have a little reminder of who we are at NRW Global Business. We are the trade and investment agency of the state. So we are 100% state owned. So we don't charge for consultant services. If you want to set foot here in North Rhine-Westphalia, open up a subsidy or even a manufacturing plant, we help businesses grow here in the state. And we also help German and North Rhine-Westphalian companies to go to new markets, grow their export strategies. Over 100 employers help you here from our headquarters in Düsseldorf or from our 15 international offices, which are located nearly all around the world. Yeah, and if you have any questions regarding our services, our sector reports, for example, in the field of green tech, you are very welcome to welcome me. You can find my contact details here, or my dear colleague Katarina, who cannot be in attendance today, but who is really an expert in the field of green tech as well. And yeah, I hope the first few questions regarding the state of North Rhine-Westphalia and the green tech sector here have been answered. And I'm happy that I could contribute to the webinar. And if there are any questions, please feel free to shoot. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Andreas. So yeah, now due to time, we come to our next topic. So which is not only important for NRW, but also for the whole world, the energy market. And yeah, for that reason, I would like to welcome here on screen Mrs. Jung Lin, Project Manager at NRW Energy for Climate. And I'm excited to hear your spotlight. So, Ms. Lin, the screen is yours.
Yeah, thanks a lot for the invitation, and I'm very happy and honored to be here to present you about the energy markets in the North Rhine-Westphalia. I will share my screen now. Okay, yeah, please just shout if you don't see anything. Yeah, so today I will spend like 10 to 15 minutes to give you a short overview of how the energy sectors in the state is like, and also what would be also like the business opportunity for you if you are also working in the related sectors. So my presentation will be sort of structured in this way. First, I will give a short introduction to us, so who we are as NRW Energy for Climate. And then I will give you some key figures of energy sectors in NRW, and also to introduce you of the political strategy policies and also the status quo of energy transition in Northern Westphalia. And then I will move, I will give you also a short overview of like electric mobility in this state, and who might be the stakeholders you could find, and also to support you at the local level. So who are we? So like Northern Westphalia has actually a clear goal of to become a climate neutral in the future, but we also would continue to be Germany's most important industrial location. So this actually is a challenge, but it's also a big potential for the state. And we want to also take the lead of energy transition in German at the federal level, but also at the international level. So who we are also a state-based organization, which are also 100% founded by the Ministry of Economies of the state. And our headquarters is in Düsseldorf, and we are also expanding our regional office in different area in the North Westphalia to create a network for the whole state. And we actually are just established at the beginning of this year by the state. So it is still, it's like there is a great potential and also and also a huge determination from the state to transform the state into climate neutral in the near future. And we are also the driving force and the key point of contact of energy and climate protection of the NRW. And our service, including like scouting for in technical innovation and scalable project in energy sector. We also provide the free consulting for companies who are interested in developing green energy and also energy related sectors. We connect different stakeholders in the state. So from politics, industry, academia, and civil society to create more synergy. And we also act as an information platform to foster the knowledge transfer and exchange between business and the politics. So these are the topics we actually work on. So we are involved in energy sector, industry, manufacturing, heating, building, and also mobility. And I personally are under the international cooperation team. So we are especially fostering the foreign agencies or foreign companies who are interested in us, and especially to work on climate protection and energy sector. So now I will move on to the energy sectors in NRW. Some key figures here is actually also mentioned in the last presentation is like we are the big energy producer for this country, but also a big consumer for electricity. So it is all about like 28%. And why is that? It's also because of like the huge population, as also mentioned before, and we are the home to many heavy industry. The share of renewables in NRW last year, it is, 2 years data, it is 70% of renewable energy in the electricity consumption, so in the electricity sectors. And the majority of it is actually still from the fossil fuel. So there is actually still a great potential to increase our renewable energy consumption and also the installation. And the current figure now for the wind energy is 6.2 gigawatt, and for solar energy is also 6 gigawatt. And this is energy sector is also the big sector for the North Westphalia, which has like more than 200,000 employees here. And as you can also see in this graph, wind power plays the key role still in the renewable energy, but of course the uptake of solar panels is also quite essential for the energy transition in the state. And the energy consumption in NRW is also is predicted to grow in the future. So now it already accounts for about 30% of the demand, but it is also estimated by research to continue to grow till almost 30% at 2035. And that involve different sectors and different like implementation of technology. So such as the growth of the e-mobility, and also industry consumption, but also even like new technologies such as power to heat, power to gas, and other sector coupling options, which are going to be implemented in the coming years. So what is the strategy and target of our state for the energy transition? So if we look at the federal level, so for the whole Germany, there is a huge growth of renewable energy in the electricity sector. So for this, for the recent decades, it grows up to like more than 40%. But there is an uneven development here because, as you can see in the mobility and in the heating and cooling sector, the growth in recent decades are much more slower. So that is also now a target and also and also with a great potential to be decarbonized in the coming years. And if we now look at NRW, they are different political targets and strategy already defined by the state. So the first is the energy supply strategy, which defines several ambitious goals and also the measures how to achieve climate neutrality. So for example, first is like with the photovoltaic and wind energy, we would like to install to triple it or to double it. So for the solar panel is to 18 gigawatt to 24 gigawatts in the coming 8 years. But for the wind energy, we want to double it also till like 12 gigawatt in 2030s. The expansion target is also set by steps. So we want to reach 65% by 2030, but 88% by 2040. So for the renewable energy sector, there is a great potential here in this state. And for other sector, how are we going to achieve climate neutrality or to reduce the emission? First is we want to phase out coal latest by 2038. And for the heatings, also the introduction to more municipality heating planning and green technology in the heating sector will also play a key role. And now there's also a lot of different programs supporting mobility transition. And also the latest will be energy system need much more flexibility and more digitalization to make it flexible and make it smart. So that would support the renewable energy dominated energy system. So advancing these two areas is also essential. And the latest but not the least is also the hydrogen roadmap published by the state of NRW, which the cross-border cooperations of hydrogen will play a key role, which you will hear much more detail also in the coming presentation. And just an example for the heating sector, which as we can see in the Q&A section already, some people are interested in. There is a project also as an example, it's called 100 Climate Protection Estate in North Rhine-Westphalia. So it's so for this project, the target is to reduce the heat-related emission in the residential area actually. So how they're going to achieve it is to achieve much higher insulation standards and with a fixed CO2 emission, and also to apply different kind of technology in the heating area to reduce the emission. And it doesn't just involve building new houses. It's also about to renovate the new houses to make it more climate friendly. And it is in total the housing for 25,000 people. So it's also a relatively big project going to influence a lot of people. And it's also coordinated by the E4C, so by us, and financially supported by the state. There's also another one which is also especially interesting for for the digitalization sector is like the digitalization strategy. For energy sector, digitalization plays a very important role because we need to make the mobility system smarter, much more efficient. So it's not just about the public transportation; it's also about to expand the charging infrastructure and make it efficient and also make the charging system faster. And yeah, like this, under this strategy, we are the state is fostering digital business models and technology, and also for the smart grid. And there are some examples of institution and projects might be interesting for you is like the Fraunhofer Center Digital Energy, and also the Virtual Institute of Smart Energy. And there are different platform projects already conducting regarding the artificial intelligence and virtual power plants. Some example as keywords you can also check is like, energy forschung offensive, which is support the innovation and R&Ds. And progress and NRW is a big umbrella term for a lot of different financial schemes and support for the climate friendly technology. And we also have an online tool which you can search for the suitable funding based on the criteria you set. And now there will be also a quick overview of the electric mobility in the state. So there are quite several national strategy by Germany, which like to increase the uptake of the electric vehicles is very essential for the state to be carbon neutral. So it is not just about to increase the uptake, it's also about to improve the infrastructure. So like for Germany, to reach 1 million public charging stations and also to expand the fast charging network plays a key role. And for NRW, we also already overreach our goals. So now we have 65 non-public charging spots and like 10,000 charging spots already installed. And in this graph, as you can also see, the number of electric vehicles also increased drastically in these 3 years, also due to better infrastructure and a lot of different financing schemes. Some keywords also for programs and subsidy is like such as NRW Bank Electromobility, which also mentioned was in the last presentation of this institute, and the Progress NRW and also the support for the public transports. And all these different programs supports the R&D, supports the implementation and purchasing electric vehicles and installation of charging system for your own business if you will be locating in NRW. And also important key takeaways here is the companies in NRW, municipality and individual consumer are all highly incentivized to engage in e-mobility. So that will be also something interesting for especially people in the related sectors. How do you find potential partners and stakeholders? They are also different kind of online tools. Unfortunately, this in German, but maybe some of you it might be useful. So for like the Branchenführer and Erneuerbar, it is like also it's a data bank for like the actors in the in renewable energy sectors in NRW. And for Competence Atlas, it is a data bank for fuel cell and hydrogen, and also like for the e-mobility. And one last point would be about the convention in the North Rhine-Westphalia. So this September in this year, we are organizing the Decop Expo Düsseldorf. I mean, we as the NRW, So this convention is especially targeted green energy technology and like energy storage and hydrogen also. So that will be also a great chance for you if you to get to know the local stakeholders and to also expand the business potentials here. And another smaller event is the Battery Day, especially target at like the battery technology, which is taking place in April next year in Aachen. So we come to the end of my presentation, and yeah, like here is my contact if you have more question or you're interested in working with us, cooperating with us, or get to know other, wish to be connected to other actors. We are all very happy to support. And yeah, you can also find us on the website, which you can also find other colleagues to be connected with. Yeah, thank you for your attention, and I will hand over to the next presentation.
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Lin. Quite exciting. Yeah, as you mentioned, now we come to our next spotlight, the circular economy. And for this, I'm very happy to welcome Mr. Professor Dr. Thomas Müller-Kirschbaum, Chief Scientist at the Circular Valley Foundation. And yeah, please, Mr. Müller-Kirschbaum, if you would put on your microphone and your video so that we can see you, that would be great. Yeah, perfect. And if you perfect. And yeah, I assume you would like to share your screen as well. So please do so. And after that, yeah, you can start your presentation.
Okay. Yeah. This
So,
is, yeah. Coming
yeah,
here.
it looks great. It's still, yeah. So now we see your
mode. Perfect.
Perfect. So there you go. Thank you.
Yeah, a warm welcome also from my side. I think there is a lot of very important topics about the state of North Rhine-Westphalia already set, so that I can directly jump into the my presentation, even with an executive summary. So about circular valley, or circular valley is the hotspot for the circular economy. And so the reason, the first paragraph, why do we need a circular valley? It's very easy. You know, we are very much in a linear economy, and even North Rhine-Westphalia as a state with a high industry share of the GDP is mainly in the linear mode as the entire industry around the world. And but as we are here the inventors of the linear economy more than 200 years ago on the continent, we want also to be the solution and the inventors of the circular model. And that's the reason why we said, okay, we need here a kind of circular valley. What is a kind of analogy to the Silicon Valley, that is the hotspot of digitalization. And our approach is, our mission is that we here in North Rhine-Westphalia want to be the circular valley, the hotspot of the circular economy. Why this region is ideal for that, or is the best, that you have heard already some numbers, and that is, I would like to jump in here, first, the Rhine-Ruhr area is Germany's biggest metropolitan area, stretching from Cologne to Dortmund, and it's even a little bit bigger. So it's the entire state of North Rhine-Westphalia. So we are not limited to this circle here, but we see here 5 important key reasons that make this area very special as the hotspot for the circular economy. First, we have access to companies needing solutions, because these are even the leading companies in their areas, in their branches in the world. Second, we have here very established and new circular companies that even are a kind of role model in their industries. And we have a very attractive scientific landscape that was already mentioned. And not to forget, culture is very important. Where we are very cosmopolitan here for hundreds of centuries, and have a huge cultural offerings and rich history that lives to the present today. So just giving it a little bit a flavor. Don't try to read it all, but you see here, these are all leading companies, 300 plus global market leaders, located in all branches in North Rhine-Westphalia and in the area of the Circular Valley. That is one example where we have connections to with the Circular Valley Foundation that I'm talking about. And we have also leaders in several industries. So, for example, if you look at the top, Remondis is European market leader in recycling. We have Covestro as a circular economy company, the chemical company that has circular economy very strongly in the focus, and so on and so on. And Tomra at around about 9 o'clock there is the leading company for sensors for deposit return systems, and also for sorting of waste. So all the leader in technologies there, and so on. We could go through it, but we do not have the time. So there is a good reason why to allocate us here in that area. And here's the scientific backbone that was already mentioned. And I have not to repeat by Andreas, was very well described. But here you see also the attractivity in the areas of culture and multicultural background. That is for sure here in North Rhine-Westphalia. And as I said, this was here the area where the linear industry was started in the 18th and 19th century. And so we feel the obligation also not only to transform the industry. You see a part of industries that have already been fully transformed. There is no coal mining anymore in our area. But there are a lot of other industries that are in the process of transformation to a circular economy, and that's the reason why we have everything here on board to do that. And I can just tell you a little bit about the Circular Valley Foundation that you see on that slide in the core. And around it, we have 3 elements. And I start at around about 8 o'clock. So with the public relations, that is Circular Valley Foundation is doing some public relation activities that started this year. We by ourselves started officially in April last year. So we are around a little bit more than 1 year old. We are a startup by ourselves. On the right side, so at around 4 o'clock, you see the topic of policy recommendations. We are a part of studies, as we are here between Berlin and Brussels. If you want to go from Berlin to Brussels, you pass North Rhine-Westphalia and the Circular Valley area, and we have some practical knowledge and experience. So it makes a lot of sense that we are participating in studies. That what we do, for example, in a recent study, what it needs to make the industry in North Rhine-Westphalia the leading circular industry in the next decade. And on top, you see our main activity at the time being, that is the Circular Economy Accelerator, and that is directly, hopefully, addressing also your interest. We cooperate in economy, science, and with startups here. And just to show you, not here our partners, but the batch 3 that has started 2 weeks ago. The 3rd batch of our accelerator, and we have here startups from all over the world. We had a submission done and an application. So we had an application by more than 500 startups until end of April, and we sorted them out and find out and selected 35 of them that you see here on this slide, from all over the world. There is one intention, not to be only have startups from North Rhine-Westphalia, but have startups from all over the world. And as a circular economy center, as the Circular Valley needs the interaction, the global interaction, and we want to even send those startups out again to bring the flavor of the Circular Valley and the mindset into all areas of the world. And the selection criteria changed from batch to batch. This time we had a mix of material solutions to circularity or circular economy and digital solutions to circular economy. Maybe we can go on afterwards in the discussion more in depth. But here with this, I would like to make a stop and just you are cordially invited to apply for batch number 4. which will start by end of this year in the fourth quarter. It makes a lot of sense. If you are active in the area of the circular economy, you are warm welcome, and we happily would like to see your application. Thank you very much. With that, I would like to end my presentation and handing over back to Nick the next speaker.
Perfect. Thank you very much for this also exciting insights and information about circular economy. I think, we all have seen that's such an interesting topic right now, even here in North Rhine-Westphalia. So yeah, big thanks to you, Mr. Müller-Kirschbaum. And now it's time for our last spotlight. So because of hydrogen could be one of many solutions for the world, and it's also one of the key technology for many different branches. I'm excited to hear more about this topic and would like to welcome the CEO of H2Up from Essen, Mr. Uwe Kerkmann. And please, the screen is yours. We are excited.
Thank you very much, Nick. So I share my screen and hope everything is fine with the screen sharing.
Yes, perfect. We see
Very
everything.
good. So thank you very much for the opportunity to introduce H2Hub as the new national hydrogen startup platform established here in North Rhine-Westphalia in Essen with the support of the state government of North Rhine-Westphalia. And I'm quite happy to introduce this initiative to an international crowd of startups, and would like to start with the framework of why hydrogen and how this is connected to startup activities. A very brief introduction into the German hydrogen strategy shows that Germany firstly has a very advanced hydrogen strategy, that all the federal states like North Rhine-Westphalia and others have defined regional strategies, and that the core value and the core goal of this strategy is to achieve carbon neutrality in line with the targets agreed in Paris. And this means greenhouse gas neutrality by 2045. This is very important to know because there are other strategies around the globe and other strategies in Germany, but the German strategy is definitely to achieve carbon neutrality. And Germany also has defined ways how to achieve this, and hydrogen is one of the key issues when it comes to the climate goals that we are trying to achieve. The first step is, of course, to introduce or to establish a domestic market for the production and the use of hydrogen. This is a key issue when it comes to finding our role as Germany in the international hydrogen economy. So first goal is to establish a domestic market and to establish a lot of gigawatts of generation capacity. Why this is an opportunity for international companies, also for startups, is that Germany has chosen the path that only green hydrogen produced from renewable electricity will be accepted as sustainable. This is a difference in comparison to other European countries or international countries where, for example, also hydrogen produced from nuclear power or produced from other resources and sources is considered as sustainable. For example, hydrogen made from gas by carbon capture storage, that is separating the carbon and store it, for example, underneath the ocean, as Norway and other countries do. But for Germany, this is very important to know. Only green hydrogen is up till now the way we have chosen. And therefore, there is a lot of innovation to be done because we need a lot of renewable electricity to produce enough hydrogen. We need enough hydrogen to be used in different sectors of the industry. And this will cost a lot of money, and the German government has or will provide funding of around about 7 billion euros to support the market rollout of hydrogen technology in Germany, and to build international partnerships to do this, because we are sure that the demand of hydrogen in Germany will definitely be very high, so that even very careful estimations see us importing roughly 80% of the hydrogen that Germany will need from international markets. So this shows that the hydrogen economy is definitely not a regional thing. It's definitely not a national thing, but the hydrogen economy is an international thing. And because hydrogen is not an industry, it's not a sector, it's kind of a topic like electricity or water. So it is very important to see that we cover the whole value chain of producing hydrogen, storing hydrogen, transporting and distribute it, and then use it in different industries like the steel industry, for example, as we do it in North Rhine-Westphalia, or for transportation and logistics. So a lot of things can be targeted, and this is an ideal situation for many startups to jump in and bring their innovative product, their innovative service, and their innovative approach concerning the use, production, and distribution of hydrogen, bring these innovative approaches to different kinds of industries. So in a nutshell, Germany wants to develop a long-term research and innovation program that covers the whole hydrogen value chain. And therefore, we need all the innovative resources in order to reach these goals and reach an industrial scale of hydrogen production and usage by 2030, which is very ambitious. So we have to work on integrated projects. We have to turn very successful singular pilot projects into a total ecosystem of solutions. We have to connect the entire value chain, both physically and digitally. Physically meaning we need pipes and we need logistics and transports and physical infrastructure. And digitally means we need information. How does the hydrogen come from A to B? What kind of quality is needed? What kind of quantity is needed? So we need to get data. We need to make use of the data in order to cooperate across industries and sectors. And last but not least, in order to make investment decisions that are feasible, because we need a lot of money, we need a lot of investment to build the infrastructure and to get the hydrogen economy going. That is, we need all available sources for innovation. And here the startups come in, because startups are not only in singular sectors and industry of the startup of the hydrogen economy, but work on all parts of the hydrogen value chain, bring digital and innovative solutions, and are also working on, of course, hardware technologies, that is electrolysis, fuel cell, and so on. Startups are needed in this fast-growing market because they are agile and give important impulses for the industry. They are open normally for collaboration and provide also disruptive ideas and concepts, because the energy market in Germany and worldwide cannot just evolve in a very natural way, but needs really strong impulses to change. And in order to realize this, the H2 Hub connects shareholders, stakeholders, support the startups building their own businesses, and promote cooperation across industry and sector boundaries. As I said, the project is funded by the state of North Rhine-Westphalia, by the Ministry of Economic Affairs, Innovation, Digitalization and Energy, and is also a partner project of 3 big companies. OGE is a gas grid provider in Germany. The RAG Foundation here in Essen is covering innovative investment projects in North Rhine-Westphalia, and the TÜV Süd is covering certification and regulation in the hydrogen business. So basically the hub is a matchmaker. We bring startups together to have peer-to-peer communication, and this beyond borders and internationally. So it's really an international project. We have an own acceleration program, H2 Hub Sprint, and already had a first batch of 4 startups successfully working in this acceleration program. We provide a lab net, that is that many hydrogen startups need laboratories and testing facilities, and we provide a net to find a suitable place to test your equipment and to technically work on your idea. We also work as a think tank. We made our first European survey of hydrogen startups and finished it just last month to be downloaded on our website. So we are an ecosystem builder and of course a service desk, not only for German startups, but for international hydrogen startups as well. So what is in it for startups? You get introduction to financing partners by corporate partners, VCs, and public funding. We support you with acceleration and incubation of your ideas. And we give comprehensive support along the entire innovation process, not only covering your product or service, but also covering the building up of your company. And therefore aid companies and startups and new companies to build new competencies and business network. And just to give you an idea how very broad the approach of hydrogen startups is, we have startups here in Germany, in North Rhine-Westphalia, in Aachen, working on vehicles. We have startups working on fuel cells and electrolyzers. We also have startups working on flight mobility driven by hydrogen, which shows you the variety of startups and what they are working in. So the international startup scene, we would like to invite all of you dealing with hydrogen innovation or with the energy innovation. You can have the chance to meet the European startup ecosystem, get insights by experts in Germany and of Europe, joining our digital deep dive sessions and learn about the European market and its challenges. We offer the opportunity for peer-to-peer exchange and a network, and also companies can join us in our effort to support hydrogen startups and get early and exclusive access to innovation partners, to find investment opportunities and exchange with others what to do in order to ramp up the hydrogen market. And we are trying to build a regional as well as a European as well as an international hydrogen network. So if this is something for you, here you can see companies who already support us. We have a lot of international startups in our network. In Europe alone, it's 160 hydrogen startups. So meet them, join us. And if you have any questions, I shall be happy to answer them. And you get the presentation, I assume, by the organizers. Therefore, thank you very much for your time. And I hope I could introduce what H2 Hub is doing for international startups. Thank you.
Perfectly on point, 5 p.m. So yeah, as we would say in Germany, yeah, punctual. Perfect. Yeah, that's it. I hope you have seen a lot of different topics which are right now active here in the green tech market. So thank you very much, Mr. Kerkmann, for your insights and for your input. So to all of you participants, do you have any questions that have not been answered yet? So feel free to write in the Q&A in the Q&A field or in the chat. So I think I would wait a few seconds, at least a minute, to write all the questions down. So please, if you have any questions, tell us. If not, you have seen all the slides and also the contact details of all the speakers from today. So feel free to reach out to them, as I already have written down in the Q&A section. You get all the slides afterwards. So yeah, I see one question in the Q&A section. How we can be in contact with a startup which is active in hydrogen section. So maybe Mr. Kerkman, this could be a question for you. So the person may reach out directly to you to get in touch with startups?
Definitely, because as I explained, it's really important to know what kind of hydrogen section do you mean? What kind of startup do you have in mind? What kind of solution do you need or have to offer? So in order to find out what we can do, just reach out to us and send us more information of what you are looking for, and then we get you in touch with the right person or startup.
Perfect. So I guess that's it. Thank you very much to all of you, to all of our speakers today. Thank you for taking your time to giving us this exciting, interesting input for today. Yeah, to all of you participants, yeah, that's the end of this webinar. I hope tomorrow at our Access to Industrial Solutions webinar, you are still with us. So please join at 4 p.m. Central European Summer Time. And yeah, thank you very much. And have a good morning, good night, good evening, wherever you are right now. And thank you very much.